His favorite movie is The Notebook. At guards, after basketball, his dream is to become a rodeo clown. At guard, he once ate 20 hot dogs in an hour. At forward, he doesn't speak a lick of English, but we still love him. At center, he still lives with his mother.
The 2013-14 senior class is one of those classes that every coach has a dream to coach. Having 8 of those kids come from second grade on all the way up through seniors class is really something special. And what I want to make sure everybody knows is not only were they good basketball players, they're also good people. And that's the biggest part of the thing that we try to do as a coaching staff is make sure that we produce good people. Because basketball is a short part of everybody's lives, and people got to realize when they're done with the basketball career, they got to be good people coming out, and these guys will be successful no matter what they do. So as a staff, we're very proud of them, and we thank them for everything they've done for us along the way because of all the hours that they've had to put in away from home and being with each other. But the thing about basketball is that they can become a family, and I thought this group of 8 kids really became a family this year, and I'm going to miss them dearly along with other coaches, and we wish them the best of luck as we go.
He's on fire! Out and over!
Nick Balls is one of those kids that every coach wants. He was one of the best shooters that we've had come through our program. I should say, let me reiterate, jump shooters that we've had come through this program in a long time. Nick was kind of a gym rat when it came to shooting. He really, really liked to practice his shooting. And this year he really had to step up because last year he didn't get a lot of time as a junior. And he never lost faith and confidence in himself or in the team. He went out and worked really hard all summer long and had several games now. I think he had one game of 7 and he had a couple 6 games with 3-point shots. So he really, really added a lot of boost to our offense. And when the other teams took Nick out of the game, we had to find ways to score. We had to get back to Nick because Nick was one of those kids who could light out, 15 points in a hurry. And he's just a tremendous kid. He and I hit heads a little bit once in a while, but he always had the right ideas, and I would respect that forever. And some of the things he did for me, I can't even put on here, is that I would remember those for the rest of my life. And it's things like that that might make you want to coach longer. And Nick, I thank you for those things, and thank you for a great career as a Yellow Jacket.
Kyle Sonnenberg.
As far as I'm concerned, is finished. And I don't mean finished. I don't mean finished as an NBA player.
Yeah.
I don't mean finished as a great NBA player. I mean finished as the
Kyle Sonnenberg.
but we've all known.
I'm with you.
I looked at
Kyle Sonnenberg.
and Russell Westbrook as the two most athletic point guards in
HOL.
history. I've never seen anybody at that position that athletic. I think that day is over for
Kyle Sonnenberg.
It sounds like they just said, let's just bag the rest of you. Really? I really, last night I was thinking, boy, I hope he could come back in a month or so, or 6 weeks maybe.
Kyle Sonnenberg is one of those kids that had an unfortunate accident last summer when he was on the football field and the basketball court. He had an ACL bad injury that he had to rehabilitate, and he missed all of football. And if many of you know you, Kyle is a very sentimental kid, and that hurt him a lot. And not being able to go into basketball season knowing if he's going to play. But he worked his tail off, and the thing about Kyle is he never missed a practice unless he was at a doctor's appointment. And he wouldn't have been there all the time when he was injured, but he was there for his teammates, cheering them on, doing what was right, trying to rehabilitate as he was going along the way. And finally he got on the court a few times this year. And Kyle's a very special person in my life. I had him way back in 6th grade, and he's probably one of the only kids I know that would crawl underneath the table of a 6th grade teacher and tie his shoes together and almost make the teacher fall on his face. But he's one that I'll remember forever, and he's a very special kid, and we wish him the best of luck as he moves on. Hunter Southey is one of those gym rats that was in the gym more often than most kids that we had in our program. He would go to the pack a lot and not only work on his shooting, but he'd work on all facets of his game. He was a relentless worker. If you ever went to a summer tournament, I had to bring along 4 extra jerseys for Hunter because he'd work so hard. We have to switch jerseys after every game. The sweat was going, but then I had to bring the bag home and leave it in my car. And you know what that brought about after a couple hours in the hot sunlight. So Hunter was a very, very, very valuable player for our program, and he had to guard a lot of kids maybe 4 or 5 inches taller, a lot stronger than him, but he never backed down. And there were many games that Hunter Southey won over his career for us as Yellow Jacket basketball. And Hunter, I know you have a chance to go on and play a little bit in college. I hope you do because you'll be successful in whatever you do. Jamie Heidel is one of those kids that coaches can't do much with sometimes. He's the hardest worker you can ever see. He works his tail off day in and day out in practice. He would attend all the events in the summertime and just would really dedicate himself to this team, and he did that for the Yellow Jackets this year. The only drawback about Jamie is if we were going to a tournament in the summer, we leave at 8, Jamie would try to show up at 8:30 and still expect to ride, because we sometimes had a 5 or 6 alarm sitting by his bed just to make sure he would get out of bed, because he was always late. I remember one time we went up to Grand Rapids and he wasn't showing up, so we left. And oh boy, another about 2 hours after that, here comes Jamie in the gym with his dad. His dad had to drive him up to Grand Rapids. So Jamie was one of those kids, he slept in a little bit once in a while, but Jamie, when he got on the floor, he competed to the best of his ability, and he gave us everything that he could. And we're going to miss Jamie a lot as he moves on into his new career.
I don't think that's a very good attitude. You can't talk about hurting other players.
But I don't think you should be butting in when I'm talking to my team. You're my assistant, okay? You're supposed to back me up and go get me juice boxes when I tell you. Now go get me a juice box.
You know who you're talking to?
I'm talking to the juice box guy.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy. I'm just thirsty.
Eli Beachy, probably one of the molded himself into one of the finest leaders that the Yellow Jackets had this year on this team. He really blossomed. There was a couple practices I think we talked about leadership, and finally I just had to give a couple kids the go-ahead and be leaders, step out of their shell and be the leaders that we needed. And Eli was one of those who stepped out and showed very positive leadership to all his teammates. And he was a defensive specialist that many teams didn't have. And being only 5'9", he had to guard some kids that were a lot bigger than him and sometimes even faster than him. And Eli never backed down, and he was such a competitor. That's what I like about Eli the most. He didn't like to lose. And I'll tell you what, when the coaching staff has that type of kid, it's going to be hard to replace. And Eli was one of those kids, and he could have scored more than he did. He sometimes would give the extra pass to a kid in the corner, and instead of him taking the shot. But I'll tell you what, he was very valuable to us, and many times kids don't get recognized for what they do defensively. They always look at the stats. But as a coach, I see what he's done for this program and just everything, not just on the court, off the court. He's been great to me as a coach, and I want to wish Eli you the best of luck as you move on in your career. Trey Moberg's another one of those kids that came out in about 9th grade in a summer league game, and we were short players, and he stepped in, and the kids were cheering him on, and he drained a 3 from the corner, and it was like a state championship game with all the kids jumping up and down for Trey, and Trey showing that big smile of his, and he was elated and glad to be part of it. And sooner or later we got him out for the team, and Trey just started playing a few years ago, and I'll tell you what, he's been a big contributor in our program, not only on the court but off the court, as he has been an example, because he's one of those kids that took most of his lunch times when he was a junior. Instead of going to lunch, he'd go over to the pack and try to work out on his game and get his game good enough so he could be on this team. And Trey's done that. He got a lot of extended minutes this year in very crucial situations, and he always brought that big smile. And if you ever watch any video of the Yellow Jackets, when the Yellow Jackets win a game, you'll see Trey Moberg jumping up and down and showing his elations for everybody else, even though he might not have been in a game. So Trey Moberg's a special kid. He'll be successful in whatever he does, and we wish him the best of luck. And he will be missed along the way also. Josh Meter is another special kid that I have a lot of heart for, because Josh Meter never got a lot of playing time and he never complained a bit. He's one of those kids that would come to practice and always try to do what was right for the coach, even though he may know that he might not get a lot of playing time. And just recently I submitted his name to a coach in Jamestown College that wants a /player coach manager type situation where they'll earn their way to a scholarship and be on a full ride scholarship. And I recommended Josh because I think he's going to be really, really a good coach someday if he goes into that field, because he has such a knowledge of the game of basketball and he really thinks deep into the game. And there are many times this year he'd come to me with an idea, and sure enough, he would be right. And we used some of those ideas that he put on the floor, and he was always asking questions about things, but he was always there, pat the guy on the back. Being there as a coach, I felt great because he always said some kind words for our coaching staff. And so, Josh, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll miss you along the way also.
I don't love him on the floor. I do not love. I do not love.
What?
I do not love
What is wrong with
my
you?
point guard to be such a high-volume shooter that he is.
Oh, my Lord.
He shoots it.
Oh, my. You should be banned from talking
he's like-
basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
You know
You're
what?
insane.
You know what? He shoots way too many threes, especially in playoff games. He's going to jack it up 6 or 8, 10 times from three, and he's going to make one of them. He's a miniature LeBron. You know it, and I know it. He tries to do too much.
1, 1, 2. Check me out right here, yo. Turn the track up a little.
Tyler Glines. Tyler Glines came into our program along with Eli from Staples a few years back, and Tyler Glines, first time I saw him, I knew he was going to have some ability to play at Perham. And we talked when they first moved here about them having to work hard. Eli and Tyler having to work their butts off to get into our program. They weren't going to be handed anything, and he just nodded his head and said, "Yes, I'll get it done." And he came in and worked his tail off all the time for everybody on his team, and he was probably one of the finer point guards in our section. There were point guards that scored a lot more than Tyler did, but Tyler's one of those kids that didn't put up many shots when he could have. we were on him a lot. We got after him a lot for that purpose. As he said, Tyler, you got to shoot the ball more when you're open, and he just had that feeling in him that he might be shooting too much. I don't know exactly how to relate to that, but he had the ability to score. But when you took Tyler off the floor, things changed, and Tyler was a super player, and he'll be successful. He should have been playing some college basketball, but has decided now just to go to college and get his career built and move on with his life. But very respectful kid. That's what I like about him, is he had a lot of respect. And I just recently had a great conversation with Tyler, and the first time I've been able just to sit down and talk about general life for about 45 minutes, and it was one of the most pleasurable things I've done. So Tyler, I thank you for everything, and best of luck with your career as you move on. A lot of these kids, these senior class, were part of a state team last year, or 2 years ago, and they were really, really good teammates during that stretch. You know, we are unfortunate this year that they didn't get to make the state tournament, but you know, all the things they've accomplished this year, they should be very proud. They won the HUL Conference Championship, which they can take with them and no one can take away from them. They also won 20 games again this year, over 20 games this year again for the Yellow Jackets, and they got the number 1 seed in the section, and just were unfortunate that one night that a team was a little better than that. So seniors, you are special to all of us. You will be remembered. The door is always open for all of us, for all of you, I should say, to come back and see all of us, because we'll be there for you. Best of luck, and thanks for everything you've done for us.